Hey guys, it's Novice, and I'm pretty sure we can all be in agreement that 2024 has been a wild year for a lot of different reasons that aren't really important for this video. But what is important for this video is that 2024 was also like a really great year for like anime to come out. And each month I found myself, in the trenches watching some of the best shows and some of the worst shows, that you could think of that came out this year. And today I wanted to go over my list of the top 10 anime that I believe came out this year, in my personal opinion. These are kind of ranked in order, and I am pretty solid on where I'm going to place these. So I guess without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, for my number 10 pick of the list, I wanted to go with something that was more lighthearted, and I had a lot of fun watching. And the show I'm talking about is Shangri-La Frontier. I think season two dropped this year. I mean, I'm currently watching it, but I'm not too sure about season one. I think they both dropped this year, and it's like it starts off as your average SEO ripoff, except he can log off and on. Um, but it gets down to the animation and the character development of each one of the side characters is so on point. Like in the end of season one, you get the big fight between Sunraku and Weatherman, and it is some of the best animation that you can see this side of One Piece. Like the final clash at the end was just something to behold, and then season two picks up right where it left off, and being basically the direct, basically no time has passed, and I'm only watching the dub. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm watching it as it comes out. But Sunraku just finished like fighting these mechs, which is kind of cool. Uh, but yeah, that's all I really want to say. Shangri-La Frontier, solid anime. Like if you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice from not watching it. And speaking of a disservice for not watching, my number nine pick, I believe season one came out last year, and then season two finished up this year, and it's Mashle Magic and Muscles. This show was just so fun, especially that theme song by Creepy Nuts. Just putting in all the work, my god. And it's just basically, I'm pretty sure all of you know. I like the fact that it's basically if Harry Potter went to the way hit the gym instead of the books for magic class, and dude's just like, okay, I can do this because I'm strong. Like all his moves are just so supernatural that they can be just classified as magic. He even calls it muscle magic, and it's just so fun. I hear the manga about it is kind of dark, which I think I want to give it a shot. I don't know if I should. If I should give the Mashle manga a shot, leave it in the comments. And I guess we can move on to our next entry. Now, my number eight spot, it kind of hit me by surprise. I didn't really expect much from it because I seen the trailer leading up to the release of this anime, and I watched episode one, and since then I was floored by the animation, even the story. It seemed like it was a nothing burger of a story, but whenever you dive further into the episodes, it just unearths like this massive, I wouldn't say you know what, yeah, this massive overlaying story that you only get the glimpses of by the end of the series. And what I'm talking about is Wisteria Wand and Magic, or Sword and Wand and Sword. Wisteria, let's go with that. And this is, I forgot the kid's name. The main character, he looks like an Izuku Midoriya clone, and it is the furthest thing from it because yeah, he'll put the beat down on someone. Like the fight between him and Julius, so fun. The ice just like, oh, you can do these. Well, I've been dealing with this since I was three, and they were better. And then just putting the left right good night on everybody in the field, and then he still loses the games, but at the end of it, he gets what he wants because he beat Julius. Solid series. I recommend y'all watch it if y'all haven't. Like, it seems like your normal fantasy anime, but it is so much better than that. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice for not watching it. It is so good. And another really good one is one that I put off watching be solely because of how the character design was. Like, I hated the art and how it looked. But I got bored. I was like, I need a new anime to watch because I already went through a lot of them. And I was like, I don't feel like rewatching this show or rewatching that show. And then for some reason, I seen that this anime also had a live action counterpart to it, and I had to check it out. And the show I'm talking about is Trillion Game, and it's basically these two dudes who meet in high school and just become like the definition of ride or die. Like, you got the main character with the glasses who you meet every episode when it's like the current time and all the episodes happen in the past. But you meet this kid who bought a laptop with all the money he's saved for a few years, immediately gets robbed, and then his best friend steps in the first time he meets, and it's him just beating down all these people who are trying to rob him. And then make character kind of hacks into security cameras to delete the footage. And this dude, what was his name? Haru? Might be it. This dude basically latches on the first smart person he meets. Like, this dude's like, oh, you can actually delete camera footage. He becomes this dude's best friend, and this guy is the definition of ride or die. Like, after college, they both went to the same place to apply. Right, long haired guy ended up getting the job because he's a people person. Short hair, glasses guy, main character, I believe, didn't get the job. Right, and so he became like a window cleaner. And on the day of orientation of this company, Dragon Bank, the best friend just surprise comes down on one of those window cleaner things just to pitch his idea to his friends, like, oh yeah, I quit that job because they didn't want you to. And from there, dude proceeds to sell his watch in order to give the main character a leg up on a competition, and just becomes like the definition of ride or die. I want to see what the story has to offer, what more it has, because I'm only watching the dub because, my God, my brain can't take too much reading. But it is so good. It is just how two people can just create a company, and their goal is to make 1 trillion yen, and it is so fun. I highly recommend you watch it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have watched it. I put it off personally because of the, like I said, the character design and the animation looked a little weird, and I really wasn't with it. And then I was like, I'm bored. And when I gave it that first episode, I was hooked. It was so good. And another thing that's so good is I personally finished watching the first 2 seasons of this show, and then found out that the third season just dropped, and I was shocked because no, I didn't find out about this, and that is ReZero season 3. ReZero season 3 is it's a not a direct continuation because they take a year off, but it is basically they go to this what is it called, this like trap town, this town that was made to be a trap for one of the witches. And it is like I said, I started watching this show dubbed a few years ago, so I'm keeping up with the tradition. The voice acting is so good, and I really do like how the story is going. I think Subaru died twice this season so far, and I kind of want to see how it's going to turn out because this is the furthest he's gone without dying in a season, and it's only going to mean he's going to die so much more. It is so good. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen ReZero, so you don't need me blabbing on about how great of a show season 3 is. But you and another sequel that I really want to talk about this list is well, the first season came out like 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Like 5 years ago, it came out the same time same time God of High School came out, right? And I read God of High School before I watched the anime. Didn't really like it, but I did the exact opposite with this show, Tower of God, right? Tower of God, I watched the anime and then read the manhwa, and then I dropped the manhwa because it was too much words. And then I've realized that they're picking up the show for season two, so I hopped back into it, and I am on for this ride. It is just as much fun as I remember it. I think it's getting to the climax of the season. Again, watch the dub, finish it dub, but it is so fun. My favorite character is Rock because Rock is awesome and he's voiced by the guy who did Vegeta. It is so fun. Like season two, after it concludes, I'm gonna pick up the manga again from where the anime left off, this way I can continue the story because I don't know if it'll ever get picked up for season three because I heard it wasn't doing well ratings wise. But I kind of want to continue the story because it's getting to a really good part. And hopefully, now that I know how to pronounce these people's names because they said it in the anime, it'll be easier for me to get through. And speaking of a show that it doesn't need to be easier to get through. And it's a show that a few years ago, my brother picked up the manga for him, and it was like two chapters in, and he was telling me about it. I was like, "Oh no, kind of seems lame." Boy, was I wrong! Like, I watched episode one of this anime, Kaiju number eight, right? Oh yeah, my number four pick of the list is Kaiju number eight. Kaiju number eight, so good. Again, you don't need me to tell you how good it is because most of the people who watch this video have seen Kaiju number eight. I hope. If not, please do so. It is so good. The animation kind of whack in some areas. Like a lot of the complaints I've heard online is the fact that the character design makes everyone look chunky, and I can understand it because I started reading the manga, and my goodness, I'm not gonna tell you what's happening in the manga right now, but it is so detailed the anime could never, and it is not shocking or surprising really at all. It is so good, and I heard that they were making for my number three pick. I heard that they were making this show, but I never really believed it until it came out, and I think late last year, December, and finished up in like February or so. It still counts for this list. Don't crucify me. But my number three pick is Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is a story of Sun Jin Woo just becoming the monarch, the Death Monarch, and it is so fun. Again, no, the first time I watched it in sub, and then I went back and watched it in dub because the voice actor did an amazing job with the direction he took Sanjay Moo's voice. But Solo Leveling, I've read since I believe from where the anime left off is when I picked up the manga a few years ago, and then I finished it. I haven't read the sequel Ragnarok. I probably should. My brother says it's amazing. But yeah, my number three pick is Solo Leveling because it came out, and obviously "Arise" is such an iconic phrase. And also, okay, so a little spoilers if you ain't seen Solo Leveling, but you know the episode where he kills all those people in the dungeon. The song that plays when he kills them, "Death is gonna come for me." It is so good. I listened to that song like five times on repeat after I found it on YouTube. The woman who sings the song is so good with her voice. Like my goodness, I am a sucker for a nice voice. But you know what else I'm a sucker for? Great depictions of food. Now this year, Netflix released a sleeper show that really wasn't advertised anywhere, and that is Delicious in Dungeon. This, on the surface, is a cute little story about how these group of friends and are going into a dungeon in order to save one of the main character Lyos's sister. And they they immediately okay. So the story starts off with them meeting a red dragon, them getting demolished. Main character's sister sends them out of the dungeon. She gets eaten. The crew, without really any food or anything, decides, all right, let's go get her back before she gets digested. Goes to the dungeon without really any preparations. Figure they'll get food in the dungeon, so they're thinking it's gonna be a suffering that they're gonna do in order to go save the sister, but no, they at first it's bad, but then they meet the best character, Sinchi, and this man is probably the definition of the female gaze, in my opinion, or it could be wrong. He could be the definition of the male gaze. This man is a short, little, buff man with a luscious beard and long hair who knows how to cook, clean, and it is so ravenous about doing both. It is so awesome. And it starts as, your little light-hearted show. It's episodic, like, oh, what are we going to eat this episode? What are we going to eat this episode? And then every once in a while, you'll get some, little hits that it is really a terrible place to be in. And then you get to the episode where the dragon comes in, and then afterwards, when they revive the system, my God, this show took a 180 in terms of tone. It went from day to night. It went from Mister Rogers to Michael Myers, right? This show is so good. I don't really want to spoil too much about it because you owe it to yourself to watch this show. And another show you really owe it to yourself to watch is the number one pick on my list of anime that came out this year. And by no surprise, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put it as the thumbnail. But my number one pick is Dandadan. The fact that it came out simuldub is amazing. Like Kaiju number 8 did it this year too. But Dandadan, I really wasn't planning on reading, but I was going to. Oh my God. Mind you, the theme song, Creepy Nuts, again, banger, right? This show its voice acting is on point. Its animation is pretty good. But my favorite thing about the show, and it's a thing that is probably one of the funnier things, is the facial expressions of Momo. Like her facial expressions are some of the best. Like, it melts my heart every time I see her it do something. And also, is it just me or did like episode one, Okaroon, when when he's in the classroom, look like he was 2D from the Gorillas? Because if that's just me, I don't think it is because dude is literally 2D. It's awesome. I also, the Gorillas are good, but this show is almost even better than the Gorillas. Like you got the emotional connection between Okaroon and Momo, and it's so adorable. And you got Momo's two friends who are the definition of a real one because at first they didn't really like Okaroon, but then they're like, hey, when Gigi was like, she's my lover, and then those two are like, no, she ain't. She's taken. She got him in, and it's Okaroon. And I was like, you know what, you two are all right in my book. In my book, y'all are the real ones. Gigi's annoying as hell right now in the anime. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Is my top 10 list of shows that came out this year. Some are sequels, but you know, so good. Anime this year was solid. I'm excited for what next year is gonna hold. But if there's any shows that you think I should have put in the list, if I haven't, just comment it. I probably will check it out because I'm always looking for recommendations. But anyway, if you wouldn't mind, just like, subscribe, and thank you.